What's up guys, Trevor here and welcome back to another week's video. In this week's video we're going to talk about why and what's up guys, Trevor here and welcome back to another week's video. In this week's video we're going to talk about downsides of being a entrepreneur. So I really don't like to make these types of videos because I don't believe there's a lot of downsides, but I have to point out things that people may not really know before they get into entrepreneurship. So this is more generalized because becoming an entrepreneur just means that you're solving problems. Usually you have a business to provide that solution to problems. And this is more of a general video because you could be in different industries than me and have different problems. So I'm trying to cover as much as possible. So the number one thing, one con of becoming an entrepreneur is that you have to be accountable. This means that you are your own boss essentially, and you need to be accountable for your own actions, your own process in your business, because nobody's really going to push you hard enough to get you past the finish line. It's only you and yourself. So with that being said, that you have to be able to be accountable for your own actions. You need to be realistic in how much you progress in that specific week and how you can progress further. All that, you don't have if you're not paying a mentor, you don't really have anybody to really push you, tell you what to do step by step. Just like if you were in school or if you were going to college, you have a professor telling you, oh, the next assignment is this. Your boss is telling you, go do this and that. When you're your own boss, you have to know what to do next, and this can be really challenging for people that have never done it before. But over time, I do believe that you'll gain the skills and know exactly what the next step forward is, and that's really a very valuable skill when running any type of business. Do you think the CEOs of big businesses are doing the actual manual work themselves? No, they're just making the decisions. They only need to make a certain right decisions over a long period of time to see tremendous growth. And as if you're an employee, you might think that this is not fair, but I believe it's completely fair because that business owner took that risk, that chance, which he easily could have failed, and built that business up from the ground. So that is just one con so far. And then we're going to talk about number two, which is it can be lonely. So this is something, it depends on who you are. If you're someone that is just in an area that you like to talk to people, you're not shy, you're extrovert, and making connections and all that is easy for you, then this really isn't that a really valid point. But for a lot of people that introverts, it makes entrepreneur very lonely. It's just yourself. You're putting in all this effort, and oftentimes, even if you have friends, they're only doing what you're doing, because realistically, if you're an entrepreneur, you're only going to have friends with people that are doing exactly what you're doing, or in a specific stage of their cycle of being an entrepreneur. Generally, for a lot of people, in starting a business, it can be really lonely at times, but as you progress further, realistically, you should have a circle of people that you can depend on, that hopefully at that point you have a business that is sustainable, that can run itself without you having to be there 24/7. So that is point number two. And then we're going to talk about number three, which is going to be nothing is guaranteed. This means that you were to start a business, a clothing brand, a phone case company, there's no guarantees that you're going to get customers. Like all things in life, you could say getting a job or getting a well-paying job is not guaranteed, but especially with entrepreneurs, being an entrepreneur, nothing is guaranteed. You could have a sustainable business for a few years and then something goes wrong. And this is why it's very, very important to focus on preventing the downside of businesses. This is really, really important as someone that depends on their business for a full-time income. So with that being said, building a business and preventing a downside is something that once you are at that point where you're making that level of income that you want to be, you need to start working on. Because if your business is your driving force of income, then you want to do everything to keep it that way and growing for years to come. You can diversify in different asset classes that can produce income on their own, but you want to maintain your biggest stream. Usually it's going to be that business, that cash flowing business that's going to produce income every single month, that you can take a paycheck out and still have that business growing month after month, year after year. And let's talk about now point number 4, the con about being an entrepreneur is that you really don't know what the next step is, and things can happen really, really fast. One quote that really just stuck with me is that people often overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And with a lot of entrepreneurs, they're very impatient. They want things fast, and I don't blame them, because I want, if I could be a billionaire tomorrow, I would 100% choose that, but that's just not how it happens. It builds on itself, it compounds on itself over time, and you really need to learn how to enjoy the journey, because if you don't, you're going to feel burnt out, you're going to lose progress, you're going to start going the other direction, and if you see yourself going in that direction and you don't correct yourself, it can be a completely just downfall, because it's very, very dangerous. You need to be able to keep up the momentum, because once your momentum is going backwards and you don't catch it fast enough and it starts snowballing, you could be wiped out of business. And that's why it's very important to prevent the downside. And hopefully I will make a video in the future about how to prevent the downsides of business. But to get to that, that is to have if you're going to be living by yourself or with a roommate or with a partner, have your house completely paid off. Some people like to not listen to this advice, and they rather like house hack, or just invest in real estate in general. Do your thing. Just some people prefer, once you have that house completely paid off, it's that peace of mind knowing that you have that resident at least completely paid off, and you don't have that monthly expense. And then other things is have enough cash in the bank to have bad months in a row, a couple bad months in a row, you're able to weather the storm. And if things go wrong, you're able to bounce back, because with business, it's not just completely just up or completely steady. It goes up and down and up and down. But the long path forward is supposed to be gradually increases in revenue and hopefully profit for yourself. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed some of these realistic cons of being an entrepreneur. I would still say that if you're in a position that you have a job and you don't like that job, the best of both worlds is to continue working at that job, and in your free time, this is after you get off work, you need to be working on something, a business hopefully, that can fund itself, because at that point you're able to quit that job without questioning it if this is something I can do full time or not. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.